Hi, everyone. My name is Anda. Thank you so much for joining us today for the webinar on Perform and Automate Testing with SAP Solution Manager, Focus Build, and Scrum Board. Throughout the webinar, you can feel free to just ask any questions in the questions panel. We will go ahead and answer those at the end of the webinar. To start off, I will go ahead and introduce Steve Oken, who will give us a brief introduction.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have an exciting topic, perform and automate testing with SAP Solution Manager. I'll just give you a quick overview on CoreALM and who we are in case you don't know us yet. We are experts in the application lifecycle management space for SAP. We exclusively work on customers that have SAP today or are implementing SAP. The company started about 13 years ago. It started from our CEO and founder, Labana Batucci, who actually worked as the ALM practice lead at SAP. So was in charge of the sales of Solution Manager to the field. He saw an opportunity to create a services-based company in this space and decided to go out and found CoreALM. And so we've been in business for the last 13 years. You'll see some selected logos of some of our bigger customers. There's another logo slide later. And basically, we serve some of SAP's biggest customers in helping to improve their change process, whether that's for implementations or for operations. The company decided about 2018 that it was going to look at opportunities to build products that help to expand the scope of what we could cover from an application lifecycle management perspective. We realized that many of our customers, very large customers, although they run SAP, they also have other applications that they use to manage their entire business process. And for those other applications, they often use other tools like Jira, Azure DevOps, ServiceNow. And so we decided that we would build some connectors to those applications that would allow business process teams to be able to take advantage of the best capabilities and continue to use Jira, Azure DevOps, and ServiceNow for those things that they were using them for, but take advantage of the benefits of Solution Manager and have that information directly synchronized. So you can have all that information there. So what's the reason for all of this? The benefit is really to make your SAP changes better, faster, and cheaper. Very simple. Because this is a testing discussion today, I'll focus on the benefits from a testing perspective, but it really covers all aspects of the process. So whether you're doing large-scale SAP S4 implementations, rolling out an S4 template to multiple divisions, or making ongoing changes, it is truly gonna help with the tools that we have available, and we'd be happy to talk to you about any of those things. But since today is about testing, we'll focus on the benefits from a testing perspective. Better is really, I think of a test case as kind of like a contract between the SAP project team and the business as to what they're going to get at the end of the day. So they should be looking at those test cases, approving those test cases before the team goes ahead to execute them. By doing that, we're setting very clear expectations of what they're going to get at the end of the day. That should happen during the design process, but it should continue all the way through testing. So better means better quality, so the stakeholders and the business itself gets the changes that they want to get. Faster is, and obviously better quality as well, less defects. Faster, obviously if you don't have a lot of defects, you can move quicker through the testing process. The business stakeholders don't have to realign to some different, expectation. And so you can get to the end faster. Cheaper, partly is just the speed means that, all of these changes take time, and time is money. So if you can get there faster, you can save effort. We also remove duplication of effort. So if you have multiple tools that are there, by synchronizing that data, it prevents the need to have to sort of duplicate the effort, which takes time. And then because we, obviously testing, if we can, especially in automated testing, we can actually cut down the testing time. And the last thing is, if you get better quality releases, then you have fewer production issues, and those production issues obviously cost money because you could be down in production, which obviously has a major effect. So we've been doing this for customers across the board. We'll throw some logos up there, but the biggest thing is that I want to introduce FISNIC. FISNIC is a an expert in this space. He has worked with our development team to actually build out testing products. We do offer testing as a service. So if you're interested to understand more, you don't need to become a customer. We like to share our ideas, our knowledge. We've learned a lot through the process. We actually run automated testing on all of our software multiple times per night. And so we've learned a lot through that process. So I'm going to turn it over to Fisnik, and Fisnik, take it away.
Thank you, Steve. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. On this webinar, I will try to show you more on day in life and what do you have to go through when you deliver a project for S4, as that's most of the pain points that the see for customers they struggle, and how you can get the benefits. And I will go in details, and I'll also go on the presentation. Present the slide. Also will go on a demo where you can see a live system with simulated data, that demo environment that we can simulate most of these that I will show on the slide. On this webinar, I will go through some testing strategy. We'll go some test creation, execution, defect, and some automation, and then there's the regression, and then we'll go to the demo itself. So the one of the tools that we use during the S4 implementation and S4 this S4 implementation project we see crucial that helps our customers succeed is the Scrum board. So the Scrum board, what does the Scrum board delivers? It delivers you to track the progress of the build that you're doing, and you can run the daily meeting, and you can have that overview what's daily going on. So you have truly agile project delivery, and based on these, you can create impediments, you can create bugs, you can create decision blocks, and you can track those on a daily basis, and you can raise issue before they become roadblocks in your project. So Scrum board is crucial in as we see in any large project that we deliver. And you can see also from a backlog view how you're delivering the requirements. You can track and see all the details on each item that we deliver. Also, Scrum board, what it provides is additional reporting and burn down, burn up charts, and that PMO likes to see the reports on a daily, weekly basis, and so on. What's happening there? To go more in detail now on the testing. So with the Solution Manager, with SAP Solution Manager, as before we have added a focus built on for this large project deliver S4 delivery. We used to have functionality to create a manual test, automated test. We had DBCA, we had CBTA, we had the test plan, test packages. We could do all the reporting, and we had the analysis dashboard and so on. But on top of that, when we do the functionality that comes with focus build, is that we can do test plan generation from the requirement work package perspective, and I'll show you more in the slides and then on demo how that looks like. And we have also test step designer and test step execution, which is a different functionality from the basically test document that we will see it. And then we have also the test suite dashboard and the traceability matrix and so on that will take advantage for you to see how you're doing from the requirements until you deploy it through all the steps that you go into delivering that particular requirement. Right? And this is very important that goes through the stages of the build. So let's take a step back and look at how focus build, the roles that go in focus build, and how the entire process. So we get an overview how focus build and the methodology. Will go more in detail on the next slide, but just to look at what it takes to deliver a project. Where do we fit as a testing in an entire big picture? So the project starts with a PMO. They create a project, and they define the plan, define the release and do waves in the sprint. And from there, then we go into the validation business team, which will look at the business process and the business process hierarchy. Either you start from best practice or model company and so on. And from there, they define the requirements, what it would take for us to deliver for this particular project or implementation that we're doing. And from there, then the build team breaks it down into work package. We start a unit that needs to be part of one release. And then from the work package, we break further down into the work item that needs to be built and develop the development config item that we'll have to do. And here is the functional specs get delivered on here. Technical specs would get delivered in here. And after that work item is released, it's released, then we go ahead and we do the test planning for SIT, UAT, end-to-end, and regression test plans and the regression testing that we have to plan. But in here we do the unit testing, and when it comes to the test management part, here is where we fit in the big picture of the entire project. And we have the defect management, and the defect correction goes back and forth until we fix all the defect and we mark successfully our testing, and then it goes to the release and so on. But here's the one of the big pictures that we have to look at. Right? And here's the test management, what we call it, right, compared to other streams. Now to go on testing, like what type of testing comes in as part of for implementation. The testing types are the unit testing, which we do at the work item level. We all know what unit testing is. And then we have the single functional test at the work package level. Acceptance test. This is one of the most important tests that we have to do. It's user UAT, user acceptance test, and this validates the functionality that we have to deliver. And then we have the integration test, and then we do it for end-to-end. We have the integration test optional in QA, but then we have the final integration test, which we do it in pre-prod, and the regression test that we do it into pre-prod. The regression test we do it when we test, we bring new functionality. I want to check, or is this new functionality going to impact the existing functionality that we have already in production? And that's why we have to do regression tests for each wave that we deliver, each release that we deliver as part of our project. We have multiple release projects, and we have to do multiple time regression testing. And we'll talk later how automation will help us on this one. But just a high level picture, as we all know about this type of test types, just to bring it back and see what our options are. Now, when we talk about, okay, we know when we fit on the big picture on the project, we know what test types we have, but now where on the particular project perspective on a wave and sprint, what testing type will fit in. So we do unit testing at the work item, we do the work single functional test at the work package, and we do acceptance test at the wave perspective, and we do functional integration test at the entire release, and regression testing an entire release itself. Right? And if we look at this this is one project, has two waves, and has two sprints, and we can see also on the system down here. We'll go talk more about on the systems in the next slide. This is just a picture to see where they would fit in perspective as I talk to work package work item. When I go into more now work package and work item and requirement and what we test with what. So let's take another look. So the requirement does the user acceptance test. Work package, we do the bit of integration test, a single functional test, and work item with a unit test. So this is how the testing would we test the item. Right? And in pre-prod, we do the regression test and final integration. Let's take a look at the workflow for Focus Build and why Focus Build is so stable when we do this implementation, and how it really helps customer deliver this complex system, a complex S4 project. We have a workflow that it fairly cannot be changed, and you have to follow, and that's the main stable workflow that you have to be rigorous and you cannot change it. Right? So you go from the requirement, you approve the requirement. After the requirement gets approved, you create the work package and you go through the work package, you hand over to development. And when you hand over to development, you go and you create the work item itself. as soon as you move the work item in status to be tested, here's the QC moves to QA, and you go and you test, do the unit testing, and you release you change the status to successful test, which automatically release the transports, and this moves the status of the work package into to be tested. And here is where we do the single functional test and acceptance test. And after we hand it over to release, here's where we do the FIT and regression test. And now you might ask, but what system am I doing this and what role? So we can see the role, but what system? And here we see the system. So the system will be this, we do it in QA, and the FIT and regression test we do it in pre-prod. Right. And if you have any questions, we can answer those questions. But this is basically the workflow of focus build and where it belongs. So these are the packages, these are the work items, and here's where we do the testing and what type of testing we do. Okay. So for single functional test and acceptance test, which is I guess most important test that we have to do, is when we build the test cases, we do the execution. After we build the test plan, we start the execution. We have the defect, and we do the defect correction. And then we do defect correction again. We move with the changing of the status of defect correction. We let know the defect is ready to be retested, and then the team goes in and does the retesting again and change the status of the defect and the defect correction, and then have the status reporting and find out what the test case. So now to go more in details how this will get done. So in Focus Build we have a tile or a tile application called assignment analysis and test plan generation. So this does the work packages that are assigned to solution documentation. And we look at these work packages in assignment analysis, and based on that, we create the test plan and the test packages. And after we create the test plan and test packages, automatically for each test case, we'll go to the next slide. Then we assign the testers which will be working on this particular test plan. To go more in detail, how does this work? So let's take a look at this and let it sink in a bit. So as you see on the top, we have the solution documentation, we have the test plan and test execution and analysis. So we divide it into three parts. On the beginning, we have to go into solution documentation where we have our business process hierarchy. And our business process hierarchy is the place where we define where we're going to create the requirement. And on a particular process, when we create the requirements, we assign the test cases into process tests. And after we assign the test case, we make sure that the test cases and the work package are assigned to particular processes. And after we check that, we go ahead and we create the test plan based on the work packages statuses. We adjust the test plan, we assign testers, and then we go on the execution, which after you assign testers to particular test packages, they would go in the Solution Manager Focus Build, and they will see they will have a tab called My Test Execution. They will click on there, and they will see what test packages they have to execute. What are the test cases that they are assigned into particular packages? And then they go, if it's automatic or manual, they go ahead and do the execution. And they can, if they have a defect, they will just go ahead and create a defect. And out of the defect, we can create a defect correction, but they can be a sub defect or a defect that needs code to be fixed. So you can have a defect that you can just say, oh, it doesn't need any changes, and you confirm it. And what the defect, if it needs changes, they do a defect correction. The developer provides a fix, retest the defect, and then we can see also on the dashboard all the time. We can monitor the status of the testing, and there is also analysis reports that we can export and we can share to PMO and others project leadership that are interested in the status of the testing. So this is basically the workflow from creation till execution of the testing, right? It's very simplified, but this is what it takes to start and finish the testing. How now to go on the details, how you actually go ahead and create the test plan. So this is the subset of final analysis and test plan generation. Now I'm going to the details where we go and select the test plan. We create for each work package, test package, a work package. As the test manager, you do this and you will assign them the testers. And this is how it takes, how you start it. You create a test plan here and you select the items that you want to be as part of this test plan. And then you can select assign the testers, where you go ahead and assign the testers. And then once the testers are, now you create a test plan, you assign the testers, now the tester will go in and execute the test case, right? You can have different type of test cases, which is test cases with a test step designer, you can have a test document, and you can have automated testing. So all these are supported with a solution manager. Me as a tester, when I go in and I go to my test execution, I see all my test case here, I see my test package, I see my test case, I go in my test case, I see what description, what are my structure, my expected results, I can add the evidence, I see the attachment, I can add the evidence, attach the evidence, whatever it's needed. And if I have an issue, I just change the status to error retest required. And from here, I can create a defect. I can create directly a defect on this particular test case right now, or I can assign an existing defect if I know that this is a general issue that happened before. I can just assign a defect and not create a new one. And this is what the tester actually does in his work, right? We have additional tools on, as I said, the Scrum board. But on the Scrum board, we added a part to be able to monitor the test case execution. So we can select the test plan and test packages where we see how many test cases are in what statuses, and we can if they have also defects. And based on the assign as a test manager, I would be able to monitor all the time how's my testing going. This is very, very important to have it on during the testing phase. Right? I can build any type of reporting based on this, as all the details in it. And if I create a defect, this is how the defect creation would look like. We will have pick the system, the priority, some items like the category we can modify to see what type of category we can pick. We can pick the titles and who's going to be the message processor and so on. And this is how easy it is to create a defect. And after you create a defect, then the defect owner will go in and will take care of the defect. And as I mentioned, for the defect owner, so for the defects during the project, we usually have a lot of defects. And how to do the defect triaging during the defect triaging meeting, and track these defects. We have in the Scrum board a tab called defects here, a tab called defects. Sorry, and on this tab called defect, we will see all the defects that are as part of this project. And we can see all in what statuses they are. We can make changes here also. And this is very important that yes, we can run the meeting based on the defect priority or defect category or the theme. And this will help us during the defect triaging meeting where we can track the defects and report on daily basis on the progress. Then after the defects are after the testing is successful, we finish all the testing and we mark then we go and we mark close all the defects. We mark the testing, the work package successfully confirmed. So we go and mark the work package successfully confirmed. That means all the testing is passed. In all test suite dashboard reporting, you will see the report that the dashboard reports how many test cases we have and what status they are. Right. On test automation, to go into a little more detail on test automation framework. So as we have with the Solution Manager has a test automation framework where you can execute automated test cases, whether it be tools that are supported by standard tools supported by SAP, which is CBTA, or you can have also external tool like Tricentis and so on that connects to Solution Manager and run the automated testing. For regression testing, so we can have this is multiple layers of regression testing, but basically we run regression testing after we do the wave deployment. We do the wave deployment, and then we introduce a new wave, a new release. We have to run regression testing to make sure that the features that we already deployed in production will not get impacted by the new changes that we're introducing now. Now, when we go back to the regression testing and BBCA, so BBCA stands for Business Process Change Analyzer, and this will define the changes that we have on the changes, if the new changes, how the new changes will impact the existing items in the system that we have, so we don't over-test or under-test. So the benefit is that with BBCA offers is something that will know exactly what object will be impacted by the new changes that we implement. So to have BBCA, we need to have something called like T-bounds, which are stands for technical bill of materials, and then that will list all the objects that already exist. And that requires some time to build all these artifacts, but it's a very nice tool if we have it if we manage to have it up and running mainly to reduce the time on a regression test. And why we bring the automation? So automation is very important during the regression test. So to have automation, we won't have to retest every time all the items, manually all the test cases will accelerate the time of the testing and will save us a lot of headaches on the testing cycle, which is usually the time and managing all the people and resources to run the test execution. But if you have automating, then it eliminates all of that. That's awesome. We start with solution. We start from solution documentation, and we create the test composition. We create the new test configuration, and from the new test configuration, we can select multiple scripts, or we can select multiple test scripts. Which in this case, we go and create a quotation. From quotation, we create a sales order, delivery, we transfer order, we post the good issue, not a billing, and all this we do it in one. We have all the test data to run it, and we assign this, and we can have it and run the whole thing end to end when it comes through the next regression test. And here we can see how does it look like in execution perspective. So we have the test plan, and we run it, and we'll have the logs and all the details for us ready. We can run it overnight and over the weekend, and we'll have all the runs. And in the Scrum board, to go back to the Scrum board, we have progress reporting, velocity charts. We have burn up, burn down, all type of testing, different type of testing reports that comes as part of the CoreALM Scrum board, which we built during different projects that we implemented using our tools. And I will go now a bit on the system, but feel free to ask any questions that you have on the chat. And if you want more details, I think we will try to answer all the questions. So let me just show you how Solution Manager and plugin. So this is how Solution Manager looks like. It's a bit fairly, if you haven't seen it before. So with focus built, I have all the roles here, but you will have specific roles for a tester and test manager. You will have specific tasks that belong to a particular tester and test management role. And as I said, we go into solution documentation. We go to the hierarchy, which is one hierarchy here that I'm showing. And as you can see here, I have let's configure automated testing. I have manual test cases in here. I have test documents, best practices, diagrams, and everything in here. Fine. So, so to create a particular test case is fairly easy. All we have to do is we have to do a right click in here and new and test cases, and we see all the options that we have for test cases. We can create a test tabs, we can create a test document, and we can create a map, and we can create a test automation here. Okay, I think I opened already one. So here's one of the test cases that I have. Actually, two test cases here. So here's the test case on convert purchase order acquisition. So here's where we do the test step design. We go and get so in edit branch. So here you can add details on particular test case. We have the description, instruction, expected result, and who's going to do it. We have assigned executable, and if you say evidence here, it will make mandatory during the execution. And this is how the test step designer looks like, right? You can add as node, and you can see where it's used and all the details. Like also have a change log. All right. And if I go to now, how do we create the test plan? As I mentioned, assignment analysis and test plan generation. We see all the work packages and from the requirement work package, and we just create a test plan. And that's how we create a test plan directly from the test assignment analysis. We just go quickly to the dashboard. So this is how the dashboard looks like with the standard focus build test suite dashboard. We have also now the suite analytics, so we see all different types of analytics that comes out of SolMan. And if I go to the CoreALM Scrum board to see where the test cases are in what statuses, and here we will pick the test plan. We can select multiple test plans. We pick the packages within that particular test plan, and then we'll see all the test cases that are in the particular work package and what what status they are, and if they have a defect assigned to it. So you can see this is a defect, and you can also look at on the list view where you get all the details if you want to get more details, and you can have also custom fields created in here, and see all the different type of fields that's been created. When I go to the defect board, so the defect board also you can customize it to see particular columns in here. You don't have to see all columns that belong to, for example, waiting for defect corrections, or you can find these columns. It's all configurable. But this is very important when we run the meetings. So during the defect triaging, you would go in and you can say, okay, show me all the defect by team, and you can see all the teams, and you can run the defect meeting by team. You can run it by different category or priority. For example, you want to say, okay, let's go first with a high defect, and then go to different defects. And this is also you can go in the list view, and you can create also custom columns in here too. As you see, I've created multiple custom columns to help you with managing the defect easier. And if we don't have, let's see if we have any questions. As I went very fast through the presentation and demo.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Let's see here. It does look like we have some questions. Can we do automation with standard SAP tools without Trentis? And do you have any customers who have done this in the past?
Yeah, so you can use, as I mentioned during the webinar, you can use CPTA, which stands for Component-Based Test Automation. It's a standard tool from delivered by SAP, as we call in the past. We used to have TAO and CPTA. Now we have CPTA only, and that tool it's component-based test automation you can use to do standard SAP. It's support all standard SAP. For non-SAP, usually SAP recommends we use Vericentis, but yeah, you can do it. And we have customers that we did end-to-end scenarios, which huge time-saving costs. We recorded the CPTA.
Okay, thank you. It looks like we have an additional question. It says, can we customize any additional fields in the test step designer?
Yes, you can add, as I showed the test step designer, it has by those default fields, but if you want to add additional ones, yes, you can configure it to fit the needs that you have on your testing side.
Okay, and one final question for now. We are planning an S4 project. Do you recommend that we include automated testing cycle as part of the S4 project plan?
Yes, we recommend. We recommend to do automation as part of the S4 implementation. We had previously a large customer that had to do manual testing for the manual testing for multiple order types. So like 32 times they had to re-execute the same test case. And if you have automation, you can just change the test data and run it the same thing every time you need to do it, and it will be huge save cost in your side. But just scheduling all the resources, managing everything, it will be as you can do it over a few hours, finish everything. That would be a huge saving.
It looks like that's all we have for questions for now. If anyone thinks of anything later, feel free to email us at info@corealm.com. We'll be happy to get back to you with an answer. Again, thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you on our future webinars.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.